So, reason 596 why I don't care for the Kardashians. So, Tori Spelling, um, actress, she's been around for a long time. She has a podcast, Misspelling, which I actually think is a cute name. So, MIS spelling, misspelling. Okay, I like it. I'm okay with it. She's 51 now, and she was married to Dylan McDermott, and they're divorced now. And she said that her and her husband had filmed a sex tape, and somebody got it off from their computer, and they were blackmailed. And then people contacted them, and they were like, "Hey, we have the your sex tape. Just to let you know, we didn't accept it. We'll send it back." Yikes! Can you imagine? Can you imagine? You're pretty much being told, like, I don't think there's any money here in the sex tape, because I don't want to see Tori Spelling and Dylan McDermott have sex. No, no. I will be very honest. I did see part of the Kim Kardashian sex tape, and it's just she's not good in it. You know, like she can't even do that well. She can't even give a performance. I exited out. I was like, no, no. But it's interesting, right? Like, she's a 51-year-old. She's divorced. She has 5 kids, and she's lamenting her sex tape not getting out, not being distributed, not being on Playboy. Nothing is sacred. Nothing has any meaning, you know? It was kind of like, I mean, at least she's kind of being obtuse. I mean, she's being, like, honest about it. Like, I wanted that. I should have released it because that's what Kim Kardashian taught us. You release a sex tape, the negative effects are minimal, and all it can do is open doors for you and give you opportunities. And, you know, in the climate of OnlyFans, it is what it is. I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't be opposed to doing, like, some light Playboy, like lingerie and stuff like that, if I had the shape for it. That's very different to me than a sex tape, though. Now you're just getting into weird waters, but I'd actually be okay with, or like a swimsuit, lingerie and swimsuit. I would be okay with that, to be honest with you. Or I was. And then I guess now with OnlyFans and everything, it's like, it's probably going to go back the other way, because we as humans, we are people of extremes. So it's like everyone is doing sex work. It's going to get to the point where people are tired of that, and then I think people will become very conservative, and then that will go pretty far, and then it's just the pendulum. It's going to swing and swing and swing and swing. It's like during the Victorian times, a lot of people were doing sex work. But I thought it was very interesting. It's like, Tori. You know, I don't know how much money she has, because her father, pretty sure he was Aaron Spelling. He created so many TV shows, so she inherited his money. Like, girl, you're good. Get a farm. Go away. You don't need a podcast. You don't need to. I'm here because blueberries are $25 a carton. You know, I'm here. Yes, it's kind of fun. I want to do more creative stuff. I'm hoping once the semester is done, I'll get to do other things. But if I had her money, you wouldn't hear from me ever again. Have the decency to fade away into oblivion. Go live your life. Yeah, it is what it is, you know? And so we have her, and we also had Denise Richards and her daughter, I believe it was Sammy Richards. Sammy was on OnlyFans because work is drying up. Hollywood is starting to become the Sahara Desert. It is becoming just a place where there's nothing. There aren't going to be a lot of jobs. The movies suck. We'll get into the Minecraft movie in another video. And so Sammy was on OnlyFans. And then her mom, Denise Richards, who I always thought was just so attractive and so lovely, she's on OnlyFans too. But like, think about that. Like, she's got Charlie Sheen as her dad, doing what he's doing, and then her mom, instead of like, well, maybe we can do something else. Maybe we can do funny skits or just something else. She not only is okay with her daughter doing OnlyFans, but she kind of upstages her and then goes does that. And it's just like, what are we doing here? Everything is just scummy. Everything is just dark. Everything is just twisted. And so I listened to a comedian, Tim Dillon, and I love Tim. I think he has really good political breakdowns. He has a way of making things in politics that are very complex. He just uses like really funny analogies, and it's just for my wee little fish brain. I'm like, I got it, you know? And he said, it's going to get to the point when you're not going to be able to decipher on the internet what is shameful and what is not. And that's true. You know, so much of humans, and I know I've reiterated this so many times, it's we want to fit in. We want to fit in with everybody. And so I think that's when you find out what a person's real morals are. Are you doing this because this is how you fit in, this is how you're accepted by the larger group? Or are these your real morals and you've really sat down and this is how you really feel, right? And we've already seen it, you know? People online making a fool out of themselves for money. I mean, you could probably take a couple cracks at me. The last video I uploaded, I have glasses on and I don't have makeup. I don't look very good. So I'm probably making a little bit of a fool of myself, and I didn't do it because I didn't care. It's sometimes I get into a funk and it can be hard for me to get out of it. So sometimes I'm like, you know what, let's just make something, let's just put it out. It is what it is. But I should always be more professional and have my makeup and my hair done, you know, because that's what I want to portray, right? So I think I'm at a cross with how I'm going to conduct myself, but I at least know that I want to have some sort of professionalism. What you're seeing now in today's world is getting to the point where people don't know what it means to be professional. People don't understand that there's a time and place. The internet is accessed at all times of the day. Any material, whatever you want to see. You want to hop on OnlyFans, you want to see porn, I don't think I could say that word. You want to see whatever you want to see, you could just access everything, right? And I've been there. And what it does create a sense of, like, you start to forget that there's a time and a place, and that there's a sense of conduct and decorum and how you should act and how you should behave. You start to forget that, and I think a lot of people are forgetting that. And you're seeing it. I think Denise Richards in the 90s or the millennium, you know, she wouldn't be doing this because the overall culture was not that. But since the culture is what it is, that's no big deal. My daughter's on OnlyFans, I'm gonna hop on. You know, like mother, like daughter, it is what it is. You know, what are the psychological effects of that? What is that going to do to her sense of self? What is that going to do for their relationship? You know, Tori Spelling is over here lamenting that. She has 5 younger children. What happens to them when they see that? You know, Kim tried. She was talking about how, like, somebody had kind of mentioned, like, her sex tape to one of her children, and she's crying and she's doing this whole big show. At the end of the day, she doesn't care. I'm sorry, because if you really did care, you would pull away from the limelight. You would be doing a lot of other things. That suggestion, you could talk is cheap. Also, why haven't we gone back to that realization that talk is profoundly cheap, right? And I know I'm over here and I'm using language to talk to things about with an audience, but at the end of the day, I have my own private life, and that's where action and how I want to conduct myself, that's where that comes through, right? And that has more meaning than any conversation. Conversation can have meaning, dialogue can have meaning, but if there's no follow through, if there's no action, it just lands kind of flat. So that's kind of how I feel. So it's just very interesting. And I think it's especially interesting when we've seen the flip side of that, and we've seen Pamela Anderson talk about how the sex tape coming out, how that affected her, how she didn't have any agency. Pamela, I love Pamela now, like so many people do, because I grew up with Pam. I grew up with Baywatch, and she was portrayed to me as just a buxom blonde. I didn't think she was a bimbo. I thought that she was just very pretty and very beautiful, and even then I could recognize, I was like, damn, she's hot. It was what it was, you know? I don't think I ever really thought anything about her intelligence. I felt sorry for her with the sex tape, because I don't know, to me she always seemed sweet. You know, even her character on Baywatch, she just always portrayed like very, like being sweet. But I don't think I knew about the actual depth of her character and her personality. And seeing her sons and the men that they grew up to be, and how they're very overprotective of their mom, and seeing her get a new chance, it's just been very lovely to see. And it's just kind of weird, I guess, to see Pamela and see her struggle so much to be taken seriously, and what it means to be a woman who is attractive. And Pam talked about being taken advantage of, and then being older and your looks start to change, and her not wanting to wear makeup. And then you have Tori Spelling, who's like, damn, I wish my sex tape had come out. It's like, ma'am, what are we even talking about? No, because it does change people's opinion of you. It does have an effect on you. Like I said, I think sexuality can be different. It also depends on how you feel about your sexuality. And I don't mean who you want to sleep with. I mean just being a sexual person who's confident in their own skin. But I was like, girl, what are we doing here? No, go find something else to do. You know, it's so interesting. It's so interesting that people with so much money, they're always like, well, I gotta be in Playboy, or I have to get a podcast, or I have to do a new production. Why is it never like, hey, I have the capital, I'm going to dedicate myself to this nonprofit. I'm going to dedicate myself to being a middleman, so I can go to nonprofits and I could be like, okay, what do you need? What are you missing? I'm going to put this money, and I'm going to do it in a way that is totally transparent. And that's what I am. I'm an agent, and I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. These people are cheap. They're cheapskates, and they're just very bland and very boring, and everything is about them, you know? And it's just, girl, do something else. How much more meaningful would it have been? She's like, yeah, you know, I got lucky. My sex tape didn't come out. And actually, I'm going to take the money and I put it in an agency or nonprofit that helps people who have been victims of revenge porn. I don't know if YouTube's... I should be able to say that. That's what it is. You know, it is what it is. That would be so much more meaningful, and that would be a good way to spend your money. But it's me. You know, it's that narcissism. So yeah, I thought it was interesting, you know. Thankfully that sex tape didn't come out. But yeah, it's very interesting how celebrities, especially celebrities who were more popular in the 90s, how they're doing this resurgence, and they're like, I gotta get into the game. It's like, ma'am, you're aging. Get your card again. You know, you're out of the game. You are out of the game. You've had your children. You've had your fun in the sun. Put your little cardigan on and go chill out. Doesn't mean you're not attractive. Doesn't mean that you're not a sexual person. But now you don't have to do that because you've made up your money, you've lived your life, you can express it in a way that there's like freedom. But I guess it's, you get used to the attention, and that becomes a huge sort of validation, and then you don't know what to do without it. So it was just my little food for thought. So yes, I spruced myself up a little bit, because I saw part of the other video and I was like, oof, I look sad. So I was like, let me try. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about celebrities and how they're dealing with this age of OnlyFans. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.